how does something that is non-commercial be for profit?
I don't.
I'm sorry.
This definition doesn't do it for me. I'm sorry. It's kind of.
So I mean, are we actually done now with?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was trying to find some sort of definition for non-commercial club, and I could not
for non-commercial, non-for-profit club.
You could find non-profit. You could find commercial clubs, but for the specific sort of use category that looking to provide definition for our use of non-commercial club, basically ended up creating my own. And so I just included for-profit and non-profit because of the fact that the particular use that we're sort of talking about, they said they're they're not a non-profit. So you're talking about a for-profit club, but you don't want it to be something that is selling retail or selling services. So it becomes very circular.
It
yes,
becomes
it is.
commercial.
It's
It's a commercial enterprise.
Well, I mean, so for instance, is this defining a golf club?
No.
No.
And by the way, the golf clubs here are non-profit.
Oh, okay.
So they're clubs, but they're non-profit.
The IRS about that.
So, but I mean, that's under the IRS. You know, there's a specific category that allows for not like profit, but they're able to accrue money in order to then spend on capital improvements, and that's where this was from a gun club that originally was being sort of considered non-commercial club. Their argument was that we're not open to the general public. We're not selling a service. You have to be a member, but we're not a non-profit entity.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're a commercial club. They do it for profit.
It depends how commercial.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the idea of commerce being that commerce is exchanged, and it's not. I mean, it's all matters.
Sure it is. You want to join the club? You give them money.
How about just substitute private club?
It's a matter of
How
definition.
about just, as opposed to non-commercial, put private club for profit or private club non-profit? I mean, the golf clubs are either profit or non.
Because these guys are in there as a for-profit, non-commercial club.
Yeah, but they're a private club. You have to be a member, right?
Yeah. No. Well, yes, you can bring guests, but it's a for-profit club. The question the Zoning Board of Appeals had is how can you be a for-profit, non-commercial club?
I agree. Well, how can that be?
How can that be?
You can be a for-profit private club.
But
that's not an identified use.
But, I mean, when you're calling this commercial, I mean, they make money. But, I mean, weren't the old men's clubs, exclusively men only, they made money?
Because the zoning bylaw says that it has to be a non-commercial club.
well, and let's keep in mind they probably make money just to support themselves.
Right.
It's not like they're paying their staff.
No. These guys have investors. They're going to make a profit. They're going to.
Investment in
Oh,
building.
Yeah.
It's a big
Oh yeah,
investment
no,
in
this
building,
isn't like
building.
where they just pay themselves and they don't make any money otherwise. This is a commercial operation.
Yeah.
I propose that we leave the definition alone. We don't add a new definition for non-commercial club for profit, and let the chips fall where they may, which means that they wouldn't be approved.
They were approved. It's just because of the conditions of the
That's
ZBA,
right,
they just
yeah.
won't proceed with their plans.
Right.
Because otherwise,
You get into these semantic pretzels.
So I take it it's a use. I'm just looking for the use. It's a use already. In
Yes.
the
Yeah.
deal.
Yep.
So I mean
It's
that's
a use with a special permit,
Yeah.
non-commercial club.
yeah.
Commercial club not allowed.
The horse is out of the barn.
No, but there's no definition for it,
Right.
and so the question is, well, what is it?
Yeah.
And outside of golf courses, those are the only things that really are non-commercial
The
clubs.
ZBA asked me, sitting in the meeting, can you think of an example? They look right at me, can you think of an example? And I said, I can't. They went online, you know, and somebody said, well, what about Waitman? Nope, nonprofit. You know, you just.
Do we need to define that a non-commercial club is nonprofit, or is that clear?
It seems obvious.
But evidently you have a use in the table that says non-commercial. Does it just say non-commercial club?
Or does it
Yeah,
say?
that's all it says. It doesn't, there's no other.
No distinction
So
between
maybe we
for
need
or
to
non.
Right.
clarify that a non-commercial club is a nonprofit.
Exactly.
Well,
So-
that's fine with me, but I mean, it seems, as the ZBA said, that seems obvious, because if you try to think of the other animal, and a for-profit, non-commercial club, that's where you get hit the conundrum.
You're not gonna find that in the OED.
So you can define it. So it's in the bylaw as non-commercial clubs. You just define it as non-commercial club. And in the definition, say it's a non-profit entity. The organization that exists today is grandfathered. You're not going to be able to pick right if it's there.
Right.
You know, well, it's only grandfathered for 3 years, the ZBA gave them a temporary permit.
Yeah.
They have to prove in 3 years they're a for-profit, non-commercial club.
So that
They
second
might have
definition.
some rights under that special permit. I mean, I'm not saying that for
I
a
don't
fact
know.
because I don't
Just
need
say
it.
it.
Yeah.
So that second definition defines it just the way you said.
By a non-profit organization, right.
Right. And so we would just, that we would propose and just cross out the
Cross out
for-profit.
for-profit,
Yeah.
cross out the non-profit part of the definition. Use the same
Right.
phrase that's in the bylaw, non-commercial club, and define it as non-profit.
Yeah, I think that's what we should do.
As a private nonprofit association.
As a-
Because I already have that in the body.
Yeah.
That I mean, if these people are going to invest a very large amount of money in shooting range.
That's why they were so concerned.
Right. So what are their options in 3 years when
They're gonna have to prove it.
prove what exactly?
That they're
That they're nonprofit?
They may have some
For-profit.
vested right in that use.
I don't think we can answer that question without seeing what their special permit says, because they may have certain rights from the special permit. I mean, I don't know.
Did we write the special permit?
No.
Is that the ZBA's special permit?
And it's been issued, I take it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the building has begun?
No.
Renovation?
So there's they're very, and so I think it's a 3-year period, and is there a right of renewal, or is it just 3 years and
3 years, they gotta prove they're a for-profit, non-commercial club.
they have to prove that they're for-profit? So that suggests that the permit was issued understanding that they were a for-profit.
Yes,
Right.
So they would
they
continue
would continue,
grandfathered under that
Okay.
permit.
no, the zoning board of appeals conditions were that they would grant them the permit as a for-profit, non-commercial club for 3 years,
Yeah.
and give them 3 years to come up with examples of other
Oh,
for-profit,
I see.
non-commercial clubs.
That was really the
That was the
condition?
condition.
You have
That's clear.
to bring
I
us
mean,
another example of
Yeah, you have to prove you're a,
either that or you have to go nonprofit. Hurry, huh?
you have to prove
Yeah.
you're a uniform.
But that's not that hard to do
Or
evidently.
write
Golf
your own
clubs can do
dictionary.
it.
Write your own dictionary.
I'm just thinking there must be ways to make sure there is no profit.
So they said, could we come up, because we said they were, we said they were a for-profit, non-commercial club. This is where it all came up. In the planning board decision,
Yeah.
which I wasn't involved with, the planning board decision says it's a for-profit, non-commercial club, and the ZBA said, what the hell is that? What kind of an animal is that? And I couldn't think of it. I couldn't
Yeah.
think of it.
So that would be their homework to
Yeah,
figure out based on how you say the special permits for it.
right.
There may be such a creature out
I saw that, you know.
Well, I mean, they also said, absent a clear definition for non-commercial
And
club,
I
the board
back it up.
determined that the club would qualify as an exceptional use,
Oh, well, they could
where
go
the
there.
board was satisfied that the shooting club was consistent with the character of the business zoning district. So I think,
They got it out there.
yeah, they do have an out.
Okay.
I really think it's just the fact that in 3 years, there's that
They're
unknown.
going to have that.
I mean,
there. Well, and I think you shut the door for the future anyway.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
Okay, so
Putting that aside.
office,